Out is called by Miami to talk it over, preparatory to a 3rd and 7. Game time at 7. Aerial coverage provided by Canon cameras. You look at Foxborough Stadium, constructed for $6 million in 1971. It opened in 71. That is less than Drew Bledsoe makes in a season.
They also practice here, Al, and it's not the greatest facility to practice in. So to attract free agents, it's not a very comfortable situation either for the New England Patriots.
Boy, but it's a lot of bang for your buck.
3rd down and 7 after the timeout, and it is caught by Oronde Gadsden. Oronde Gadsden, who this spring was playing in the Arena Football League for the Portland Forest Dragons, has just scored his 2nd touchdown of the night.
This time a perfectly thrown ball by Dan Marino, high enough for his receiver to get, and the defensive back has no chance to make a play on it because of where he puts it and how quickly he delivers it.
Beautiful pass protection by his line up front. Dan not challenged at all, able to step right into it. Gadsden holding that ball where all can see it, Boomer.
Right.
Pretty good first half for this guy. And Al, tell us something we didn't already know. I mean, everybody here has had their fill of watching the Forest Dragons play arena football.
Break up them Forest Dragons, would you? They have. Gadsden's in Miami, and it's 14-7. Oronde Gadsden. It's a pretty thin receiving corps in Miami in terms of quality. O.J. McDuffie's their key guy. One guy they drafted last year, Yatil Green, was injured in training camp in '97. They came back. He was injured again, so Yatil Green has yet to play a down in the National Football League. They've been scrambling.
And another guy they drafted this year that they liked, a guy named Larry Shannon. He's on IR, and they were counting on him to be a part of this football team. So you're right. It's been a year-long scramble for the Miami Dolphins, and they still don't have any speed at wide receiver.
Here's Olindo Mare sending that one almost out under Route 1. So. ABC Wednesday night. It is Dharma and Greg. If all marriages could be like theirs, the world would be a funnier place. It must be November on ABC. This Wednesday.
You know, the thing about Oronde Gadsden that is so interesting is that the size of his hands. He wears a triple extra large glove, and tonight he's already made 2 great catches, and you can see right there the way he's holding the ball. Tonight he's made 2 great catches with his hands away from his body. Actually, a couple of guys on the Miami Dolphins said that he can actually palm 2 basketballs in one hand. I don't believe that.
I'd like to see that.
2 Nerf basketballs.
You really don't believe it?
Here's Bledsoe on 1st down. Deep caught at the 48 of Miami by Shawn Jefferson. Bledsoe was giving Jefferson a little lip on the sideline after their last possession, and whatever they said, well, it's manifested itself with a 32-yard pickup.
I think it was a good type of lip. It wasn't a problem that he dropped the last ball. He just said, hey, look, I'm still coming, and you don't get down on yourself. You know, last week he had a big drop, as Dan said, against Buffalo. But the thing that I like about Shawn Jefferson last week, and it was refreshing, he stood up and he said, hey, if I make that catch, we have a chance to win the game. I take it on my shoulders.
From the 47-yard line. Robert Edwards picks up Ford at the 43. Edwards was the first guy in the history of the league to score a touchdown in each of his first 6 games. But since then, the results have been quite dissimilar.
Yeah, he's only scored 1 in the last 4.
Hey, he hit the rookie wall. He hit the rookie wall, guys.
Yep, look at the last 4 games right there, and look at his rushing average. It's dropped below 2.5 yards per carry. He was on the far side of 4 prior to that.
2nd and 7 from the 44. Dolphins leading by 7. Edwards wrestled down by Derek Rogers.
Again, if you go outside against Miami, it's tough sledding.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Budweiser, what fresh beer tastes like. And Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. Kind of a quintessential New England scene right there.
And you mentioned it early on, Al, an absolutely balmy night for this time of year, the Monday prior to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Really far better weather than we could have hoped for this time of year.
November 23rd. I think it's almost it was almost 60 degrees in the greater Boston area today as Bledsoe throws, and it is caught by Terry Glenn, and he is out of bounds at the 36-yard line, enough for a first down.
The Patriots need points very badly on this particular drive. I mean, they were moving the ball effectively until Drew threw the interception on the last series. Now they have to get down and have to answer somewhere along the line here and get some points before halftime. Get some of the momentum back. Keep the fans into the game.
Well, if they can keep Terry Glenn in the game, it's going to be a huge plus for this Patriots offensive football team. They are just different when he's on the sideline.
From the 36, it's thrown over the middle. Glenn dropped it at the 30-yard line. Crowd wants a flag. Don't get it. Derek Rogers with the coverage.
No, they're getting the matchups that they want, especially on first down, staying in the shotgun and staying in their spread offense. But the linebackers for the Miami Dolphins in the middle of the defense, in the middle of the field, on a zone situation, are doing a good job of harassing these receivers coming across the middle. You got to catch that ball, though.
Of the three Dolphin linebackers, Derek Rogers by far and away the fastest.
Last 4 games, Drew Bledsoe, it's very uncharacteristic, under 40% in 2 of those 4, including the game against Miami last month. And this one is caught inside the 30-yard line. And this is Glenn, who gets wrestled down at the 26.
He's just not catching the ball cleanly. And he's been out for about 4 weeks, so you can see that he's suffering a little bit. But he's got to make those catches a little bit, not a little bit, a lot better than what he's making right now, because he's fumbling around out there a little bit.
And this ball's so close to the first down marker, they're going to bring it in for a measurement. It looks like he had it cleanly, then it ends up on his hip. He still doesn't have it. Then finally he puts it away just before he gets hit by Rogers.
When you're out of it a little bit, what ends up happening, you come back in, you start looking for guys that are going to be hitting you instead of concentrating on the football. And right there, Terry Glenn took his eye off the ball. See, he's looking for the guy that's going to hit him. Just catch it and turn forward and run up the field. Don't run to the sideline.
All right, Boomer, 3rd and a couple inches. You take a shot here, or do you just play it conservatively and bang it in there for the first down?
I run it.
Ernie Zampese.
I run it for a first down right here.
Would you?
Yes.
Ernie making the call.
Not tempted. Not tempted for a little play action and maybe a little quick slant.
There's been too much dead time. You know what I'm saying? There's been too much dead time. Just hand it off.
Oh, I thought you meant while I was talking. No, I had my feelings hurt there a little bit.
You're paranoid.
Thought you were a television critic for a second.
Quarterback sneak.
It is. Quarterback lean.
That's a big body right there. They'll give him the first down.
Oh, if he got the first down, it's by the length of a football or less.
We're going to measure again.
Drew was initially, it looked to me like he was stood up short of it, and then he fought and he got a little bit of leg drive going and moved himself forward about a foot or two.
I think he got it. Call McGuire.
Well, watch initially right here. Right there, Drew doesn't have the first down. There he moves forward a little bit.
He has it.
Yeah. Well, Boomer talked earlier about how big Drew Bledsoe is. 6'5", 230-some pounds. 233, 235.
But this is a game that Drew Bledsoe has to step up and he has to play well. He needs to have a big game tonight. He has to take this entire franchise and put it on his shoulders, and he's got to start making plays, and little plays like that signify to his teammates that he's playing in his game tonight.
First down from the 26-yard line, and it is tipped. Darrell Gardner got a hand on it.
One of the good matchups going here tonight is all-world left tackle Bruce Armstrong for the Patriots when he's working against Jason Taylor. Remember Jason Taylor from our Miami game with Jacksonville a while ago when he had that great fight going with Tony Baselli. And Jason Taylor so far here in the first half, not much of a factor in this ball game.
You know, the last time these two teams played, Jason Taylor and Bruce Armstrong got in it a little bit.
Yep, Armstrong got a personal foul late in the game.
That's because Jason likes to talk, and we saw that. He likes to antagonize people.
Well, right now,
a la Shannon Sharp out in Denver.
nobody's that good.
Did you see what he said this week?
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
He's still rubbing it in, and of course we can not forget, you know, that debacle we saw in Kansas City a week ago.
And give Marty Schottenheimer and the Kansas City Chiefs a lot of credit for the way they handled the way that whole thing took place.
Been a weird year on Monday night, guys. We have seen 5 road blowouts this year. 5 road victories of massive proportions, and the road teams are 7-4 on Monday night.
And that is unusual. That's not the way the home team on a Monday night game normally has a large advantage.
NFL since '73. Go back and take a look at the teams that began a year 11-0, and you've got Miami in '84, Chicago in '85, losing at Miami. Then Washington in '91. They were to go on to win the Super Bowl, and now you have the Broncos, who will try to go 12-0 against San Diego this coming Sunday night.
And they put 40 points on the board against an Oakland Raider defensive team that one of the very best in football this year. Willie Shaw's unit is just playing outstanding football. It has been a long time since I've seen an offensive team as crisp, as precise, as efficient as the Denver Broncos.
Tonight's game, in the meantime, nothing doing on the ground for either team. It's all been through the air. It's 2nd down and 10 from the 26-yard line, and the play is whistled dead.
Well, that's got to be a false start against the Patriots, because nobody from Miami came across the ball.
Chris Floyd, number 37, actually moved as well, the fullback. Be interesting if they saw him or one of the offensive linemen.
That's somebody in a blue shirt.
Before the snap, full start, offense, number 87. Correction, 84. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Jefferson.
Oh, you know, it just drives you crazy when a wide receiver does that. I mean, they have no business jumping off sides. They're so far away from the placement of the ball that all they do is watch the ball.
That's a lack of concentration penalty. The kind that are perfectly avoidable and give coaches gray hair or no hair.
And if you're 1-4 in the last 5, those are the things that basically, you know, show up.
2nd and 15. Bledsoe throws. It is caught at the 25-yard line. That's Terry Glenn making the catch. Trailing him and making the play is Derek Rogers, the linebacker.
Do you think because of Glenn's hamstring that maybe they're not really stretching the field with Terry, that he's doing a lot of crossing patterns, a lot of shorter patterns across the middle, Boomer?
I think that they're trying to set him up against the linebacker, the swifter, the shorter, the quicker guy against the linebacker. And if you can get the ball out in front of him and let him run for it, you might be able to break him free. But that ball was a little bit behind. And you could see that his numbers are way down because of his injuries. He had a big year, his rookie year, and since then he's been injury prone.
3rd and 9. Derek Cullers in as the 3rd down. Back catch is made by Tony Simmons, the rookie, for a 1st down to the 14-yard line. Big grab by the kid out of Wisconsin.
And with Simmons, you're putting a bigger body going across the middle of the field. At 6'1", 206, he actually looks bigger than that. And that is the kind of a target a guy like Drew Bledsoe loves to see in the middle of the football field. Nice catch with the hands.
And Pete Carroll was saying that Tony Simmons plays big. And for those people who don't play in the NFL, playing big means that you're not afraid to go across the middle, catch the ball, and break a couple tackles, you know, and make a play out of it after you catch it.
1st and 10 from the 14. Bledsoe to throw. It is caught at the 9 by Ben Coates, and he gets wrestled down. It's going to be 2nd down and 5. 2-minute warning coming up. And the Pats have 2 timeouts at their disposal. 2 minutes remaining in the opening half, with the Dolphins on top, 14-7. Two minutes left in the opening half. The New England Patriots have the ball at the Miami 9-yard line. Miami on top, 14-7.
An area here now where Ben Coates looms large. You can get him up and single him up against one of those Safety's in the middle. He has such a size advantage down here. We saw it the last time the Patriots were at this part of the field.
And you got that 4-yard buffer there where you can pick up a first down without getting into the end zone. So a lot of options for the Patriots offensively.
2nd down and 5. Jefferson in motion. On the ground, Edwards almost stopped in the backfield, gets the ball to close to the 7-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and about 3.
Interesting call there is the fact that you can't run the ball and you haven't run it all night long. I would think that you'd want to try to take a shot, at least 2 shots into the end zone with your big tight end or either one of your speedy wide receivers on the outside.
Well, the clock ticking away, working its way down to 1.5 minutes left here in the half. Better do a better job of blocking than that time. Tim Bowens was 3 yards in New England's backfield.
So now they have everybody spread out. He's in the shotgun. Watch the middle of the field with Shawn Jefferson or Ben Coates.
3rd and a short 4 from the 8-yard line. Bledsoe to the end zone, and that's incomplete. He tried to jam it into Coates, and Zach Thomas with the coverage, and Drew wants a flag, doesn't get it.
Drew goes down on bended knee.
You can see Zach Thomas and Ben Coates fighting off the line of scrimmage, but this is really where you want to go. You have your all-pro tight end, one-on-one. The thing you want to do there now is you want to throw the ball high. You want to let your big tight end be able to extend with his hands to go up and make a play.
Well, you know, the crowd's booing because Zach Thomas went way beyond the 5-yard zone with his hands all over Ben Coates.
And he didn't even make a play for it.
No, that should have been called.
Mini mugging. 26-yard attempt by Vinatieri is good to make it 14-10.
You know, down here in the red zone, really what you want to do, especially the tight red zone, you spread them out and you try to create matchups. And here's a matchup that if you're a New England Patriot, that's what you want.
You know, you look at that a second time. Ben Coates actually has his hand on Zach Thomas's jersey. In a sense, he's almost pulling Thomas along. I'm going to back up and say maybe they shouldn't have called him. Maybe that is a good non-call.
Well, the problem there is that every week in practice, you'll practice throwing the ball at the back end of the end zone so your receiver can make the play. And given that kind of matchup, you want to throw the ball high. And you want to let Ben Coates extend with his arms and his big body to be able to make the play, and that ball wasn't high enough. Now, if it's a slant pattern where a guy's coming towards the middle of the field, you want to throw it down low and let the guy go down low and get it.
You're right, though, Dan. I mean, Coach had his hands on the shirt of Thomas.
Yep. Well, I didn't see that from the first angle, so I am printing a verbal retraction. And Boomer, that's an excellent point about throwing the ball up in the air. You know, did you used to play quarterback or something?
Somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere. A lot of different planes, a lot of different airports, a lot of different uniforms.
Was you ever in Cincinnati?
So were you, Al, weren't you?
You bet. Vinatieri to kick off. 15-yard line, John Avery. Out to the 27. Miami now has 2 timeouts. Larry Wiggum makes the tackle. 14-10 with 1:03 to go in the half. Here's Chris Berman in Baltimore.
Thanks, Al. Ahead on the Lexus halftime show, the ESPN Top 10 Plays of the Week, with Plummer playing Montana, Rivers doing his Sanders, and Elway masquerading at wideout. Also the latest BCS standings. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Chris. Again, a look down upon Foxborough Stadium, filled as always tonight. On a gorgeous late November evening, 14-10, good game.
This stadium has been sold out all 5 years that Bob Kraft has owned this franchise.
Capacity a little more than 60,000 as Marino goes to the air on first down, and that is incomplete, intended for Lamar Thomas, covered by the rookie out of Syracuse, to Bucky Jones.
And you can see Jimmy Johnson just absolutely livid on the sideline and wants to know why there's no pass interference. And you want to know something? He probably has a case.
Well, boy, it's been a while since I've seen Jimmy this upset. And you know he's upset when the hair moves. Well, there's the one shot.
Whoa, definitely, absolutely.
Whoa, baby.
Tom Finken, the side judge, is right there.
Tabucky was lucky.
2nd and 10. It is caught up at the 30-yard line by Bernie Parmalee, and he gets taken down by the ankle at the 31 by Larry Wiggum.
This officiating crew tonight in the passing game is allowing a lot of contact.
You know, the interesting thing here now is that Dan's in the 2-minute drill, but he's almost taking too much time. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of confidence in this part of the offense for the Miami Dolphins.
Letting the clock in effect run down, and they have 2 timeouts. It's 3rd and 6, and they're going to keep the ball on the ground and give it to Parmalee. And Bernie is not going to get the first down.
But on the road.
Oh, you got to call timeout if you're New England here.
Yep. Yeah, New England at least go after the punt and get a shot at blocking it. But if you're Jimmy Johnson and the Miami Dolphins, being on the road at a place that's a tough win for you traditionally over the years, you're happy to go into the locker room with a 4-point lead.
You know, but the thing about it is that if you're going to let the clock run down, just let it run down and get into the huddle. You know, now with the way you ran it, you actually give New England a chance to go after a punt here, and give Pete Carroll and his coaching staff credit for calling the timeout and making this an offensive play for them.
Meanwhile, Johnson's still working the officials. He went all the way down to the 35-yard line to talk to the side judge.
Of course, it happened right in front of JJ, so he thought he had a pretty good vantage point.
And he's been very animated tonight. This is not the only time that we've seen that. He's been going at it for the better part of the first half.
He's paced 10 miles along that sideline tonight.
You know, let's face it, Jimmy Johnson knows what a killer instinct is, and he knows his team has their foot on the throat of the New England Patriots, and he wants to take advantage of it.
Here's Klaus Wilmsmeyer's punt. Chris Canny back to receive it, but he lets it bounce, and that's going to pretty much take almost all of the time off the clock.
I believe that's it.
That is it. They whistle it dead at 000.
Smart play by New England. Try to force the punt, but don't give him a chance to fumble.
End of the first half in Foxborough. Ed Hockley saying hold on, wants the band to hold on here for a second.
The illegal touching by the kicking team in the last play of the half allows the receiving team an opportunity for an extension, which they have declined. The half is over.
An extension?
Yes.
What kind of extension?
They could have had a free kick, I guess. They could have attempted a field goal.
From 97. 14-10. Miami leads it at the half. The top 10 plays of the week coming up on our Lexus halftime show. And back we come after this message from the NFL in a word from our ABC stations.
In the first half, Al, but I tell you something, I've got to think that they're going to revert back to form in the second half. And even though they've only rushed for 25 yards in half number 1, when they want to protect a lead, Jimmy Johnson always falls back to the running game. And even though Danny has a couple of touchdown passes, I'm going to be very shocked if we don't see Miami just pound the ball away at the New England Patriots. And, you know, Boomer, what do they have to do to get back in?
You might as well forget the running game for the Patriots because they can't even move the ball on the ground. Drew has 171 yards through the air right now, but more importantly, he threw that one bad interception that led to 7 points for the Miami Dolphins. He has to continue to find ways to get the ball to Terry Glenn. No mistakes, no interceptions, and they have a chance to win it.
And again, their season very much on the line tonight. Either they're 6-5 and back at it, or 5-6 and dead on arrival. Second half when we come back. Drew Bledsoe and the New England Patriots ready to take the football as we start the second half in Foxborough. Olindo Mare to kick off. 14-10, the Dolphins on top. Now Michaels with Dan Dierdorf, Boomer Esiason, Leslie Visser as the 12th week of the season winds down. Next week on to San Francisco for Monday night. The Giants against the 49ers. Jimmy Johnson on the road, and it goes back to his days with Dallas. 14 consecutive road wins when leading at the half. Looking for 15 tonight. There are colors from the 6-yard line. Cuts it back. And brings it up to the 41-yard line with no flags, tackled by Olindo Mare. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Al, Jimmy Johnson said the fourth quarter is critical, where the Dolphins have lost 2 games on the road this year in the fourth quarter. As for the officiating, he was still very upset when he came out of the locker room. He said Jackson was knocked down by Ben Coates and they called nothing on the other side. I don't understand it. Al?
They never understand it.
Well, there has been a lot of contact in the passing game tonight, and the guys are letting them play. At least be consistent, and that's what they're doing tonight. They're not calling it on either side.
Ben Coates in motion. Little toss to Robert Edwards as they begin on the ground with the same results they experienced in the first half. Robert Jones now playing the outside backer spot. Former middle linebacker in Dallas making the tackle. Take a look at the numbers for the first half, and as you can see, nothing on the ground, everything through the air. 171 for the Pats, 108 for the Dolphins.
Well, a pretty large rushing advantage to New England.
You know, Dan, they must not have listened. They must not have listened to me at halftime. Forget the run.
Well, and if you're going to run against Miami,
it's got to be straight ahead. You can't. You're not going to outrun them outside, especially with the speed at the linebacker position and the way that they play their linebackers.
They just lost that advantage on that last rush.
They're down now to what, about 22 or 23 now.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Now they give it to Derek Cullors, and he gets dragged down. Good tackle made by Robert Jones, but a flag goes down.
They're going to have holding against the New England Patriots.
Such awesome team speed on the defensive side of the ball for the Miami Dolphins.
You know what else, too? I mean, it's basically a cheap defense in terms of cap money out there. I mean,
holding by the offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
3 things that Jimmy Johnson, every coach, would love to have: young, inexpensive, and fast. You know, the 3 attributes that you would give to this defense of the Miami Dolphins.
In contrast, remember when Dan once described the Bears about 6 years ago as one old, slow,
and small.
And expensive.
Not a good thing for a defensive team.
No.
No, with the way that Jimmy Johnson coaches, he needs young players because he is on them constantly, and young players really don't know any different.
2nd and 23 from the 27-yard line. Bledsoe throws, and that's incomplete, intended for Tony Simmons. Sam Madison with the coverage.
Well, Boomer, you talk about Jimmy Johnson and his coaching style. You know, this is a hard game. It's a hard game to play. It's a hard game to practice. And I've never known a successful team where the coach wasn't a pusher, somebody who prodded his players, someone who was constantly on them to do it and do it the right way. And Jimmy, like Bill Parcells, and a lot of other guys, he's that type of a hammering in your face coach.
And if you're injured, he's not in your face. He doesn't even talk to you.
No,
you might as well forget about it.
You're a non-entity if you're hurt.
3rd and 23, showing blitz. Here they come. They pick it up. Bledsoe going deep, and it is intercepted again. Sam Madison has his 2nd interception. And Madison all the way to the 35-yard line. Jerry Wilson put the blitz on from the corner that time, forcing the issue. Madison with his 2nd pick, and the Dolphins do a dance.
I don't know what kind of dance that was, but I can tell you right now, you can't just throw the ball up down the sideline carelessly. And you can see Simmons actually looks like he has an opportunity, and Drew underthrows the ball again.
Madison did a nice job there with his left arm of pinning Simmons' arm to his body and got away with it.
And you can see Drew having to fall back after he throws because of the safety blitz.
Jerry Wilson, that's about the 4th time tonight Wilson's come off the corner.
They love to send him, and he's been effective. Now the Dolphins at the 35-yard line. Early in the 3rd, up by 4. Marino under pressure, throws, and completes it to Troy Drayton for a short gain, but Dan avoids the sack.
You know, Dan, did you see the movement there? I mean, you and I were talking last week about the effectiveness of a quarterback and where he sets his landmark in the pocket. You told me that you had a guy by the name of Jim Hart where you knew he was going to be all the time.
I think it's a tremendous advantage for an offensive lineman to know where your quarterback is going to be, that he's going to be in the pocket. And Jimmy Hart, like you and like Dan Marino and all successful quarterbacks, have a pocket awareness. They make subtle moves, and yet they make them look like big moves.
2nd and 7. to the ground they go. This is Karim Abdul-Jabbar to the 26-yard line. Tackled there by Willie Clay, a little short of the first down. Karim, he wears just the Abdul on the back of his shirt. He changed his name. He was Sharman Shaw in college. Then he became Karim Abdul-Jabbar. And the basketball Karim filed suit against this Karim for marketing rights. And as part of the settlement, this Abdul-Jabbar agreed to only have the name Abdul on his back.
Now, can I do that to Chris Berman when he uses my nickname, Boomer?
That's plagiarism.
Can I do that or what?
Consult your lawyer.
I have to consult Kareem out in L.A.
Talk to lawyer Malloy. 3rd and 1 from the 26. Marino buying time, gunning it to the 20-yard line. The Patriots say no, and so does the official. O.J. McDuffie short hopped it.
Boy, look at Dan get into it here.
You know what? This is the Dan Marino that I've seen for many years. And it looks like Jimmy Johnson's going to go for it again, and he has to make sure that he has his wits about his players. But that looked like a good catch to me.
Oh, that looked more than just a good catch. That's an outstanding catch by O.J. McDuffie. Whoa, baby.
Dolphins 4th and 1. They will not attempt what would be about a 44 or 45-yard field goal. Going for it on 4th and 1, and they toss the ball back to Abdul-Jabbar, and he doesn't get it.
Oh, I can't believe how bad the call was on 3rd down. And you could see Dan Marino still jawing at the officials.
And on 4th down, they go to a play that you really don't see the Dolphins running a whole lot. That deep pitch back to Abdul-Jabbar. Boy, that's not exactly what I draw up as a short yardage play, but it shouldn't have come to that.
Thanksgiving weekend coming up Friday in morning action. Texas A&M against Texas. Ricky Williams in action. Colorado, Nebraska, the second part of that doubleheader. College football this Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, right here on ABC.
And if you haven't seen Ricky Williams play yet, take the time. Fabulous.
So New England holding on downs, and now Bledsoe going deep, and it is caught inside the 30 by Robert Edwards. They send the running back all the way deep downfield. Brock Marion makes the stop.
They just had him out in the flat, and they let him run up the sideline. And really, you could see that the safeties of the Miami Dolphins did not get good enough width, especially Marion. He should have made the play. That ball hung up there for an awful long time.
Terrell Buckley is the corner underneath. Marion, the safety, trying to come over from the middle.
And Marion was right there. He should have made the play. Actually, it looked like Terrell Buckley fell asleep a little bit because he knew that he was on the running back.
Buckley almost took that coverage for granted, it looked like.
46-yard pickup, and they give the ball right back to Edwards, who takes it down to the 21. Gain of 4. Calvin Jackson makes the tackle.
So many crucial plays in a game, and you look back at the 3rd down conversion that the Miami Dolphins did make with O.J. McDuffie's catch on the sideline, and you realize just how important officials are in this game, making sure that their calls are accurate and on top and on the money.
At the 22, 10:38 left 3rd quarter. Miami leading 14-10. Bledsoe operating from the shotgun against a 4-man Miami rush. Finds the open man. It's Terry Glenn, seeks the first down and gets it, and the flag is thrown.
That's got to be
coming up on Calvin Jackson.
Oh, and they come in. A couple extra ones come in late for good measure.
You know, Dan, you had asked me earlier, you know, why do they keep sending Terry Glenn across the middle? Well, this time they made like he was going to come across the middle, and then they broke him away. And you know, every pattern has a meaning to it. And this time you could see Rodgers jumping on the crossing route of Terry Glenn, and he comes out of it and runs away from it.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, half the distance to the goal. Number was number 31. Automatic first down.
Well, actually, the number was 38, Calvin Jackson. And that is not the garden variety face mask, the personal foul kind. And this is an outstanding opportunity now for the Patriots. They get the ball 1st and goal.
In that particular last play, that would be considered a halftime adjustment, saying, hey, you know, every time we run across the middle, we're getting hammered. Let's make like we're running across the middle and come back out of the break.
First and goal, the ball at the 7-yard line. Edwards swings to the outside, and then Jackson takes him down. Almost another face mask. In fact, we will have one.
You'll have holding is what you'll have on the offensive line of the New England Patriots.
Ed Hockley with the quick signal. Pete just can't believe that his team constantly gets into this situation and hurts themselves.
Offense number 85, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Let's love it, Furnell, and he'll get an earful from Carroll.
There he is at the top of your screen, number 85. He's the reason that Robert Edwards is able to get to the outside, as he really just completely hog-ties Kenny Mixon. Hog-tied. Where'd that come from? Hog-tied.
Keith Jackson.
Ooh, nearly.
First and goal from the 17. Bledsoe throws, and Ben Coates was the intended receiver, and Jones might have gotten a hand on it. Second and goal now from the 17-yard line.
You see here Ben Coates right here on the line of scrimmage, knowing that he's going to be locked up with Jones going down the middle of the field. Anytime you see a team use 5 wide receivers and spread the defense, they're going to try to throw it down the middle of the field like this.
Second and goal from the 17-yard line. Pressure, and Bledsoe gets sacked at the 26. Lorenzo Bromell, the rookie from Clemson, was able to squirt through.
And Al, he picks up his 5th sack of the year, and he's got the 2nd most sacks in the league for a rookie defensive lineman. Only Vonnie Holliday of the Packers has more. I think he's got 8. So this guy, for somebody, unless you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you never heard of this guy, Lorenzo Bromell, but 5 sacks on the year for a rookie defensive lineman is getting it done. That time a 9-yard loss.
And you see number 99, Jason Taylor, right there, carbon copies of one another. Both are 6'6", both are about 260 pounds, and both can come after the quarterback.
They went from first and goal from the 7-yard line to third and goal, and almost intercepted. Zach Thomas knocked it down. So from almost getting it into the end zone to anything but a chip shot field goal attempt.
And Zach Thomas has been taking some ribbing from his teammates all year long about dropping interceptions. They make fun about his lack of hands, and this ball hits him pretty squarely, I believe.
This ball is just
it's back behind him. It is back behind him.
What's amazing is the inaccuracy that we're seeing from Drew Bledsoe tonight. Those are uncharacteristic throws of his.
That would have been a tough one.
44-yard field goal attempt by Vinatieri, and with the wind having calmed down, he bangs it through. Flags were still atop the goalpost, but Carroll not happy. From first and goal, they have to settle for 3 to make it 14-13. Miami.
There's Drew Bledsoe, boy, and Pete Carroll's been giving him an earful. You can't throw the interceptions, especially when you're inside the red zone.
Adam Vinatieri sends it down to the 1-yard line. John Avery, the Ole Miss rookie, is run out of bounds as he crosses the 24-yard line. 51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. A good one in Foxborough with Miami up by 1. Each quarterback at 50%, but Bledsoe throwing for twice as much yardage. However, he figures right there at the bottom.
Yeah, I think that both of these defenses are presenting problems, obviously, for each offense, but you have to be careful when you're throwing the football, especially in a game this tight. You can't be reckless with your decision making.
Now the Dolphins leading by 1. First down from their own 25-yard line. Avery taken down. Nice tackle made by Slade, but a flag comes in.
He wants a face mask. How many face masks have we had tonight?
A Passel.
You know, Chris Slade, who's been fighting his way back from injury, didn't play last week. He's got a bad ankle, and you know, by and large,
personal foul, face mask, defense number 53, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
As we take a look at Slade here, as he makes the break, fights off the block, and lunges for Avery, and that is the 15-yard kind when he hauls him down. But by and large, I think New England's defense is playing pretty well for as banged up as they are. Keep in mind that Willie McGinnis isn't playing, Todd Collins isn't playing, Mark Wheeler isn't playing, and a lot of the other guys are playing hurt, like Eaton and Henry Thomas. This is really kind of a decimated defensive football team for New England.
They've had 18 different defensive starters and 18 different offensive starters this season. From the 40-yard line, Marino throws. It's caught by the fullback Stanley Pritchard. He's tackled immediately by Slade after a gain of 4. Those 36 different starters equals the most by any team in the league.
You know, you have to wonder. When I think about it, is that nobody really cares about injuries. All they care about is wins. And you know, you could sit here and we can belabor the point about it, but it ultimately comes back to, you know, this guy Pete Carroll putting the pressure on his players, you know, and making sure that, you know, their injuries are such that they can't play with.
No, but you have to document the fact that this many guys are
absolutely.
hurt.
Yeah, hey, I know that. I'm not discounting the fact.
There's a cause and effect here. The Dolphins have had the fewest starters in the league, along with a couple of other teams, as O.J. McDuffie makes the catch. They've been relatively injury-free. They've used only 28 different starters. The Packers and the Falcons with a like figure. And it will tell you, as you look at the Falcons in particular, that if you can avoid a lot of injuries, success comes your way. Tip ball here.
Look at that thing.
Looked like Varric Collins was the guy that altered the course of that ball.
You know, the other thing too is you see Pete talking to Chris Slade. You know, the guys are playing injured. That also says something about, you know, the guy that they're playing for as well.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. Marino, his receiver fell down, looks for a flag and gets one. Lamar Thomas to the 360 and said, "Where's the yellow?" The official said, "Here it is."
Well, he went pleading his own case.
Well, you could see Lawyer Malloy just walking away from it, not arguing, so you know that there was some sort of contact. And you just watch what Malloy does here. He hits him.
Pass interference, defense number 36. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul, first down.
I think the hard thing right now for, you know, the fans to, you could see that, but what happens is the flag comes so late that the people in the stadium think that the official is reacting to what the wide receiver was doing, but that was not the case. And then they see the replay and the scoreboard, I guess so.
You have to say to you, what the heck was Malloy thinking about just jacking a guy like that downfield? Not a brilliant play.
At the 32-yard line, 1st and 10, Miami. Now to the ground. Avery's done the bulk of the ball carrying tonight, picks up 2 to the 30-yard line.
You know, we were talking a little bit about the injuries of the Patriots. You know, other than really the game against Atlanta that they got blown out here at home, I mean, their defense has done a good job. Even though they've been injured, they've given up yards. They gave up big yards on the ground last week against Buffalo. But you know what? They didn't give up a lot of points. And Willie McGinnis is a guy, you know, that you count on getting, you know, 10 to 12, 14 sacks a year. And with him not playing, I think the defense has done a pretty good job of not giving up a lot of points.
Keeping them
in the game.
In the game, especially tonight. 2nd down and 9 at the 30-yard line. 14-13 Miami. Pressure by Slade from the backside, but they ride him off, and then McDuffie makes the catch. Upended at the 13-yard line, but a first down. Steve Israel makes the stop.
Dan Marino is getting good protection from his offensive line. Take a look at it from behind and look at the look that Dan gets downfield. He has to dodge a rush from the outside, but no pressure up the middle. And in his entire NFL career, every defensive coordinator will tell you, to be successful, you have to come at Dan Marino right up the center.
And Dan has to take a timeout, uses his first to the dismay of Jimmy Johnson. With 5:32 left in the third, the Dolphins nursing a 1-point lead. This is very reflective of the recent history when these two teams have met. Just no rushing at all. The Dolphins 2.1, the Pats 1.9. Again, the league average annually around 4.0. So half of that for each team tonight. Miami leading 14-13 after just taking a timeout. First down at the 13-yard line. Marino, good protection again, and then throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Stanley.
That ball got
Pritchett.
tipped by somebody.
Second down. Tomorrow on Spin City, Yankee manager Joe Torre will be celebrating Thanksgiving early with Mike and the gang. That's tomorrow on Spin City right here on ABC.
Second down.
Second down and 10 at the 13-yard line. Marino caught. John Avery out of the backfield, ridden down at the 6-yard line, setting up a 3rd and 2.
You know, another good offensive play set up by the Miami Dolphins, trying to get Avery on Slade in the flat. And really all you're trying to do down here in the red zones, the tight red zones, is to get players in situations where you can use their speed and their ability and take advantage of a mismatch.
Huge defensive play here for New England to try to hold them to a field goal attempt on 3rd and 2 from the 6-yard line. And Avery seeks the first down. He's very close. Very close. Teddy Bruschi made the tackle.
6 inches short.
You think so?
4 inches short.
Yeah. It's a guess. I think he's short, which means tough call here for Jimmy Johnson, nursing a 1-point lead. With his defensive football team, boy, you got to be tempted to send out Mare to kick the field goal.
He will be a little short. Very nice.
Very nice, Dan.
Very nice.
That's actually 9 inches. You were close.
I believe it's 8 5/8 inches.
And they're going to kick the field goal. I think that this is exactly the type of game that Jimmy Johnson wants. He wants a low-scoring defensive struggle, and he's probably watching with the way that Drew Bledsoe's been throwing the football.
Not that he wouldn't take a touchdown, but again, you dance with who brung you. The #1 defensive team in the league. In the category that counts. How about a fake?
Not with Wilmsmeyer taking the snap. 22-yard attempt. Oh, he made it interesting, didn't he?
That great pressure up the middle.
They tack on 3 to extend the lead to 4. 17-13 Dolphins. In Foxborough on a gorgeous late November evening. Temperature in the 50s. And a good game with Miami on top by a score of 17-13 following the Mare field goal.
And an early happy Thanksgiving to everybody. A holiday week here coming up.
Boy,
Absolutely.
I bet you like Thanksgiving, don't you, Dan?
I do.
Yeah, I could tell.
Boomer, lay off me, I'm telling you.
Mare. Otherwise, he's going to make you a wishbone. At the 16-yard line, this is Derek Cullors at the 28-yard line. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Sprint, for all the ways you communicate, Sprint keeps you connected to your world. And Norelco, for an unexpectedly close shave, put it to the test. And being put to the test right now is the entire season for the New England Patriots, because a win and they are a game out in the AFC East and very much in contention, and a loss at 5-6 with 3 teams in front of them is deadly. From the 28-yard line, Bledsoe on first down, caught by Ben Coates. And when you look, gents, at the New England season, it's a tale of 2 seasons. 4-1 their first 5 games, with that big win over Kansas City being that 4th win, and then they've lost 4 out of 5.
And when we looked at that team, we looked at that tape of when they just destroyed Kansas City.
And here is Coates again making
there goes Ben.
the catch.
Yeah. And the interesting thing here now is that they're going into the 2-minute hurry-up offense. And I think really what Pete Carroll wants to do is get Drew Bledsoe in a rhythm. I mean, he wants to get him at the line of scrimmage, but now they're going to go back to the huddle. But, you know, why not? It works. It keeps you at the line of scrimmage. It keeps you thinking. It keeps you in the game. And it doesn't slow you down.
Al, what we didn't realize is when they beat Kansas City that badly, that was pretty much it for both of those clubs.
Yes. Yeah.
That finished them both off.
Chiefs in a true funk, losing yesterday, but New England trying to somehow right the ship. 1st and 10. And that's caught by Glenn, and Glenn picks up close to 10.
Obviously, by putting Drew Bledsoe in the shotgun, they're giving him a little bit more time, and they're sending 5 guys out. I would think that Miami's going to blitz here pretty soon, and then try to force Bledsoe into a quick decision and hopefully a bad decision from their standpoint. And here's that play again where they start him across and bring him back out. And you know, again, that's the matchup that you want. That's the halftime adjustment that people are looking for. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
Glenn's 5th catch of the game for 40 yards. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. To the ground to Edwards, and Edwards with a nice thrust takes it to the 31-yard line. Tackled there by Brock Marion.
Well, you can see Miami, they're trying to make a late adjustment to get into a 4-man defensive line when New England went to the I formation, playing the run. But still, George Hill's unit didn't get set in time, and it was one of the rare good offensive surges off the ball by the Patriots.
The one thing that you can do as an offense against an aggressive defense like this is pick the tempo up a little bit. Force them to make the adjustments against you.
Here's Edwards again on 2nd and 4. Taken down before he can reach the line of scrimmage. Shane Burton.
Boy, in one of the rare instances tonight where either one of these offensive teams has had a 2nd and decent yardage. It was 2nd and 4, and they squandered that. Turned it into a play with negative yardage.
You can see, actually, Drew snaps the ball before the defense can get ready. But it was a great surge by the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it started with Trace Armstrong, who got inside his guy. First Dolphin player who was upfield, and he's the guy that altered the entire flow of that play.
Edwards now 12 carries for 20 yards, a 1.7 average. It's 3rd down and 6.
And here comes the blitz again, so he's going to have to make a quick decision to get rid of it.
Pressure from the corner. He gets rid of it. Glenn makes the catch, but he's short of the 1st down by a yard or so. The pressure again, Jerry Wilson coming in from the corner.
Now the wind is behind the New England Patriots here. And so a long field goal, I would think, is not out of the question.
And that's what they're going to do. You know, in that last play, Dan, Terrell Buckley takes an awful chance. He comes off of his outside receiver to try to get an interception out here. Terry Glenn does a nice job of holding on to the ball right there.
We're looking at a 45-yard field goal attempt with a light breeze. Adam Vinatieri from 45 yards away, and he boots it through. And New England back within a point now with 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. 17-16 Miami.
And I don't think anybody who has charted the history of these two playing one another is the least bit surprised that this is a low-scoring, competitive football game. You knew that this was going to be a real dog and cat fight tonight.
But I think if you're the Patriots, you found something here now by moving the ball at a quick pace and putting Drew in the shotgun on 1st and 2nd down. Hey, you can't run the football. You have to try it every now and again just to keep the defense honest. But hey, keep him back there in the shotgun and let him play. And he's shown pretty good effectiveness, especially on the last series in that situation.
Well, one of the things, guys, that Drew Bledsoe has found that just hasn't been there for him much this year is Terry Glenn. What a huge plus it is for this offensive football team to get number 88 back in the mix.
I don't know of another receiver right now in the league that is, you know, they're all valuable. I mean, you think of all the great ones, Jerry Rice and Chris Carter and Carl Pickens and now Keyshawn Johnson. But this guy, when he's out of the lineup, basically this offense goes in the tank. I don't know if that could be said for the other guys.
And those have been hard yards for Terry Glenn. You saw that, only 7.5 yards per reception. That's tough work in the middle, the short side of the field for a guy that's not real big.
And Vinatieri sends it down to the 1-yard line. John Avery taken down at the 25-yard line. Well, we talked about the importance of this game, obviously, to New England with their season at stake. And then there's Miami. I mean, people are going to begin to think about this team as a very serious Super Bowl contender. Jimmy Johnson said he had pretty much a 3-year plan. He hoped by the 3rd year to get to the Super Bowl. Earlier this season, didn't look like he had a chance. Now, who knows?
And it's a very competitive division here in the AFC East. The Jets are playing very good football. Or the Patriots, if they can win this game tonight, tighten it up to only one win out of there. And Buffalo with Doug Flutie.
The Flutie magic right down the road. You know, this is really as competitive of a division as there is. This is taking the place of the NFC Central right now as we sit.